Alright, so boom, turn me up, don't turn me down. We back at it with another video today. We got Hockey Psychology, what you must know for the NHL Stanley Cup Finals 2025. It all comes down to this, y'all. The remaining two teams, the Oilers and the Panthers. Who is going to come away with the Stanley Cup Championship? The last time a Canadian team won a championship, I heard, was around the 90s. I wasn't even born around that time, so let's see if we can see some history right here, man, but let's get it.
The 2025 Stanley Cup Final is officially the rematch between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. For the Panthers, it's an opportunity to cement their status as a modern dynasty, aiming for back-to-back championships and a third consecutive finals appearance. For the Oilers, they got a chance to bring back the cup to Canada since 1993 while their captain Connor McDavid.
Wow, so it was 1993, okay.
Walks a eerily similar path to the greats like Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky. Last year's series was a roller coaster, with the Panthers nearly squandering a 3-0 lead before clinching the cup in Game 7. Now, both teams are back at it to go again. So, let's dive into how...
And for my mic up for the last Stanley Cup Finals from last year is out now, Part 1 and Part 2.
This is everything you need to know for the 2025 Stanley Cup Finals, so buckle up and get ready for one of the most anticipated...
That shit crazy, though, how the Panthers was literally up 3-0, and the Oilers literally had a chance to let the Panthers blow a 3-0 lead. Like, that shit crazy.
Ever seen.
All right, let's get it.
Before we dive in, let's talk about the #1 way to get the best seat in the house for any live event, and that is through SeatGeek. It's hands down the easiest way to find ticket deals with a simple 1 to 10 ratings. Meet in a rematch wasn't easy. The Florida Panthers entered the 24-25 season with the pressure of defending their Stanley Cup title and the wear and tear of 2 deep playoff runs. They had injuries and suspensions to keep players like Kachuk, Barkov, and Ekblad. They all missed time, while Verhaeghe and Bobrovsky weren't quite at their peak. And if you consider the fact that Florida sent a league-high 8 players to the Four Nations tournament mid-season, many people wondered just how much gas there was in the tank. However, you mix in some vitamin D, some beers on the beach, this team knows all they have to do is make it to the dance and then turn it on. Oh, and just to piss everyone off, they picked up Seth Jones and the Rat King Brad Marchand at the deadline at the very last second to give a gigantic middle finger to the league while saying we're going for the back-to-back championship. They finished third in the Atlantic, got their rivals in the Tampa Bay Lightning, bent them over, and spanked them in 5 games while sending a message in the process that if you touch their captain, they will make you pay the price. Then they moved on to the circus of playing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sam Bennett quickly became public enemy #1 after
Maple Leafs had a chance, man.
Knocking him out of the series. That caused pure outrage, but despite that, the Panthers fell behind in the series for the first time in the playoffs, down 0-2. Yet these are the Panthers and those are the Toronto Maple Leafs. Florida finds their game. They win 3 straight. Gets a little bit hairy with Toronto forcing 7, but come on. Biggest guarantee in sports is a Leaf loss in Game 7, and Florida makes a statement while dominating with a 6-1 win to clinch the series and move on to face Carolina. Now, in the meantime, while Rod Brind'Amour was still trying to convince everyone that the Hurricanes didn't get swept by the Panthers 2 years ago, they were in the process of getting swept again as Florida won 3 straight. The Panthers said, okay, guys, let's be gentlemen here. They gave them a win so that they can hang the conference final.
Gentlemen sweet.
And they closed this all up in 5 to head back to their 3rd straight cup final. On the other side is the Edmonton Oilers. The heartbreak of almost making NHL history, coming all the way back down 0-3 to 4-7, only to lose just by 1 goal, was enough to send these guys on a journey for revenge. Except shit was already hitting the fan early in the season. They won just 6 of their first 14 games. McDavid looked off by his standards. He had his lowest points per game pace since 2019. Everyone was criticizing them for losing Broberg and Holloway to offer sheets. Goaltending remained a circus, but yet Leon Draisaitl, the German doctor, was still unstoppable. He led the NHL in goals, had an MVP caliber year and a mid-season run of 21-6-2, vaulted Edmonton into 3rd place in the Pacific Division.
Shout out to that boy Leon.
A 4th straight first-round matchup with the LA Kings, and it looked like early, maybe this is finally the year for LA. They go up 2-0. The dream seems dead, and then the Oilers become the definition of locked in. They win 4 straight games to send the Kings home sick and nauseous. Then they moved on to the Golden Knights, except Edmonton actually came into the house and beat them. Draisaitl, along with the rest of
the Oilers really handled both of my dirty works. They knocked off the Golden Knights and the Kings. Hey, shout out to them Oilers, man.
Against Jack Eichel and the
Doing my dirty work.
They make quick work of them in 5, including a pair of shutouts by Stuart Skinner, who has suddenly looked like prime Carey Price. Finally, they meet Dallas yet again in the conference finals, and after losing Game 1, Edmonton finds the formula. All of a sudden, Dallas can't score a 5-on-5 goal. The Stars implode by pulling their franchise goalie 8 minutes into a do-or-die game, and Edmonton gets the ultimate opportunity to get revenge. Both teams, with a crazy path to get exactly where they were a year ago, are now ready to go to war again for the Stanley Cup. And considering that both teams haven't changed a whole lot to their game from when they met last year, the formula and tactics will likely be similar. For the Panthers, the game plan is simple, and it's what we've already seen for the last 3 years. Get the puck in deep, start the forecheck, and wear down Edmonton's D. Let's go back to last year's Stanley Cup final. In games 1 and 3, the Panthers' 1-2-2 forecheck was their clear driving force for their success. Just like they do to every other team, once they force a turnover deep in their end, Florida's traps would sink their teeth and it would quickly turn into a nightmare for the Oilers. No surprise here, considering that this has been the Panthers' MO under Paul Maurice. These playoffs are no different. Every single layer will come at the Oilers with full aggression, as each player will fill in the space and reload to maintain pressure. This is from last year's playoffs, and Bouchard actually does a good job here of eating the pressure of the F1 and Bennett. He's going to let Draisaitl come in and take possession. But Rodriguez, as the F2, makes a really smart, quick decision to instead reload as the F3, while Tkachuk comes bombing in to give pressure around the net. When the puck gets to the Edmonton winger, the speed of Rodriguez's route already puts on the...
His ass gave him a butt.
On the net. When the puck gets to the Edmonton winger, the speed of Rodriguez's route already puts on the pressure. It's a turnover. Tkachuk buries. It's Groundhog Day. It's relentless. It's the staple of their offense, and the success of the forecheck will likely dictate who wins this series. The second part of Florida's game plan is controlling the gaps of Edmonton, especially in the neutral zone. Connor McDavid leads all players in these NHL playoffs in rush chances. Draisaitl is right behind him in second place, so the moment these guys get a sniff of a gap in the neutral zone, it's pretty much game over for Florida. Part of the reason Florida spanked Carolina was because their gaps in this area of the ice were just suffocating. There's no room to cook, and it needs to be the same against Edmonton. Of course, that enters the importance of captain Sasha Barkov. The Selke winner and best two-way forward in the world shut down Connor McDavid to 0 points in games 6 and 7 last year. Barkov is the conscience of the Florida Panthers, and as the center, he's usually the F3 and last safety valve for Florida so that their Ds can stay aggressive on the walls and keep the forecheck alive. His anticipation almost always had him in the right spot to stay above McDavid and close in on any gap advantage that he may have. The Barkov on McDavid or Draisaitl matchup will be huge. However, Edmonton will have a response to this as a team. Shifting over to the Oilers' game plan, their number one priority for negating the Panthers' forecheck will be to stretch them out. In these very playoffs, we've seen how effective this can be against Florida to get their D to have to back off of their relentless pressure. Edmonton actually had a ton of success with this strategy last year. The Oilers would consistently send a winger to fly out of the zone, get the Panthers D to back up, and hit him with a stretch pass. At the same time, that also opened up space underneath for the Oilers to make plays, and it created the very gaps they were looking for in the neutral zone. It's no secret, the Florida Panthers are the best team in the league at forcing the play to the wall and to one side of the ice. The Oilers are going to try and have their D active and get up to jump in the play while quickly changing sides and attack up ice. Toronto in these playoffs did have some success beating Florida on the counter with this, and so had Edmonton in their 2 matchups this year. Both will be key in beating the Panthers' forecheck while creating some good counterattacks off the rush. But once in the O-zone, the Oilers' nuclear weapons will look to use these scissor routes. The Panthers play a hybrid system, so when the puck is up high in the zone, they get into man-on-man coverage. The Oilers, however, specifically Draisaitl and McDavid, use these scissor routes quite often on the perimeter and high in the zone to turn man-on-man coverages to scrambled eggs. Shocker, the Oilers used it quite a bit last year, and we've seen them use it this year, and I'd expect they pull it out again once they get cooking with extended possessions. When it comes down to it, these two teams are closer than they were last year, which may or may not make any sense considering it went 7 games. But the Oilers...
I definitely think it's going to go like 6-7.
favorites here, in my opinion. They can hunt on the forecheck just as well as Florida. They can defend really well, and Stuart Skinner has turned into Carey Price. Put all of this together, it's likely the reason why the Oilers are slight favorites to win the Cup.
Okay.
However, the Panthers are just straight up dogs. If they get to the Oilers' D-core and rattle Skinner, things can get off the rails. But I think that
this is a Shawn Michaels kick.
Skinner, things can get off
Shawn
the
Michaels
rails.
elbow.
But I think that the revenge tour comes full circle. McDavid finishes the story and gets his first Stanley Cup in a 6-game series.
Okay, that's his prediction. Oilers in 6. Comment down below y'all prediction. Yeah, I got the same thing, honestly. I got Oilers in 6-7, like I said.
To come out on top. Then again, my bracket was a pathetic mess, so who the hell knows what's going to happen? Anyways, drop your thoughts down below.
Damn, you picked Colorado?
So who the hell?
43% correct. How much have I got wrong? I got to check. I think I got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn, I did bad. But it's all good, though, because that was my first ever bracket prediction for hockey. So, you know, can't really judge me for real. But next year, I'm going to definitely get it 100% correct. That's a fact.
Who knows what's going to happen? Anyways, drop your thoughts down below. Who do you think is going to win the Cup? Who's your sneaky X factor for the series? Let us know in the comments down below, and make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on for the finals, because we're going to be breaking down every single game. You can check out some of our past breakdowns here.
Comment down below, who do y'all got winning the championship for the Stanley Cup 2024? I said 2024, 2025. And yeah, man, the game starts in a couple hours. Actually, I think the game starts like at 7 or 8, man. But hey, hopefully this is a good Stanley Cup Finals right here. And the entertainment, we need it. You feel me? But hopefully I enjoy the reaction. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, man.